Hey Metal fam, welcome back to the Latin Metal Crew Show. You know, as true metalheads today, we're diving deep into a song that's practically the genesis of heavy metal, Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath. And we don't need any fancy articles or research papers for this one.
Yeah.
This is a track that's etched into our very souls.
It really is. It's one of those songs that just changed the landscape of music forever.
Right, it's almost like a sonic earthquake. And the aftershocks are still being felt today.
Absolutely.
And to think, it all started with a spooky story.
Yeah.
We're talking about Geezer Butler, the bassist, and his intense fascination with the occult.
Ah, yes. The infamous tale of the vanishing book and the shadowy figure. It's become a legendary part of metal folklore.
For sure. And you can't deny, it perfectly sets the stage for those haunting opening lyrics. What is this that stands before me? Figure in black which points at me.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you can feel the dread and the mystery creeping in right from the start.
Absolutely. But the real genius lies in how they translate that dread into music. The main riff with that tritone interval is what truly sets Black Sabbath apart.
Okay, let's unpack this tritone thing a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know it's nicknamed the devil in music, but why? What makes it so unsettling, even to ears that are used to heavy sounds?
Well, think about the music that was popular before Black Sabbath. It was mostly built on pleasing harmonies, consonant intervals that sounded resolved and, well, safe.
Yeah.
The tritone, however, is dissonant.
Right.
It creates this tension, this feeling of unease that was completely unheard of in popular music at the time. It's like a musical jump scare.
Whoa. It's amazing how a single musical choice can create such a powerful effect.
It really is. And it's not just about the shock value. It's about how the tritone perfectly embodies the lyrical themes.
Right.
Those feelings of fear, the unknown, the presence of something sinister. It's all there in that jarring interval.
It's like the music itself is a manifestation of the occult.
Yeah.
And to think it was inspired by a classical piece, right?
Yes, Mars from Holst's The Planets. Apparently, Geezer Butler was playing around with a fragment of that piece on his bass.
And that's what sparked the idea for the iconic riff.
That's wild. Talk about finding darkness in the most unexpected places.
Right, and it speaks to the band's creativity. They weren't afraid to draw inspiration from different genres,
Yeah.
to bend and twist musical conventions, to create something truly unique.
And that uniqueness had a massive impact. I mean, Black Sabbath wasn't just a hit song. It spawned a whole new subgenre.
Exactly. It's considered the foundation of doom metal. That slow, heavy tempo, the lyrics dwelling on darkness and despair, the oppressive atmosphere.
Yeah.
It all started right here.
It's like they planted a seed of darkness, and from that seed, an entire forest of doom metal grew. I wonder what it was like to hear this song for the first time back in 1970.
It must have been mind-blowing. Imagine a world where heavy metal didn't exist.
Oh, yeah.
And then suddenly you hear this monstrous sound, this dark and heavy music that challenges everything you thought you knew about rock and roll.
It must have been like stepping into a whole new dimension. It wasn't just music. It was an experience, a ritual, and a powerful one at that. You can't underestimate the impact of Ozzy Osbourne's vocals on that experience.
And Ozzy's voice is something else.
Oh, yeah.
It's haunting, vulnerable, almost operatic at times. It's like he's channeling some ancient spirit.
It's definitely unique. There's this raw, unfiltered emotion in his delivery that resonates with the lyrical themes. He's not just singing about fear and darkness, he's embodying them.
And that's what gives the song its authenticity.
Yeah.
You believe him when he sings about those shadowy figures in the occult. It's like he's lived it.
It's like he's inviting you to step into that world with him, to confront those fears alongside him.
And it's not just about fear, right? There's also this sense of rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
Of questioning authority, of challenging societal norms.
Absolutely. Black Sabbath as a band were never afraid to push boundaries, to explore the darker side of human nature. And Black Sabbath, the song, is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It's a rejection of the status quo. It's a sonic middle finger to the establishment.
It's like they were saying, hey, we're not going to pretend that everything's fine and dandy. There's darkness in the world, and we're going to embrace it.
And in doing so, they created a space for others to do the same.
Yeah.
They gave a voice to the outcasts, the misfits, the people who felt like they didn't belong.
And that's what's so beautiful about heavy metal, right?
Yeah.
It's a community of like-minded souls, united by a love for music that's raw, powerful, and unapologetically itself.
Precisely. It's a space where you can be yourself without judgment, where you can embrace your darkness and find solace in the music.
And it all goes back to that one song, that one moment in time when Black Sabbath dared to unleash Black Sabbath on the world.
It's a legacy that continues to inspire and influence musicians to this day.
Right.
Think about all the bands that followed in their footsteps, all the subgenres that sprung up from those dark, heavy roots.
It's mind-blowing. And it's a testament to the song's power and enduring relevance. We talk about how groundbreaking Black Sabbath was, but it's hard to imagine just how shocking it must have been for people back in 1970.
Oh, absolutely. This was a time when rock music was still relatively tame.
Yeah.
The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, even Led Zeppelin, they were pushing boundaries, but they were still operating within a certain framework.
Right.
And then along comes Black Sabbath with their down-tuned guitars, their occult imagery, and Ozzy's haunting vocals. And it's like they ripped a hole in the fabric of reality.
It's like they opened a portal to another dimension and outpoured this raw, primal energy that had never been heard before.
And some people were terrified, of course.
Yeah.
They saw it as a threat to their values, their way of life. But others, the ones who were looking for something more, something real,
Right.
something that spoke to the darkness within them,
Yeah.
they embraced it with open arms.
It's like they were waiting for this music to come along, like it was a missing piece of their souls.
And from that point on, the world of music would never be the same.
So looking back at the impact of Black Sabbath, it makes you wonder what other songs out there have done the same thing.
Yeah.
What other tracks have single-handedly launched entire subgenres or movements?
That's a great question and one that deserves some serious thought. But before we dive into that,
Okay.
I think it's worth taking a moment to appreciate just how Black Sabbath achieved that level of influence.
Yeah. Let's break it down. It's got to be more than just the tritone and the spooky lyrics, right?
Of course. It's the combination of all the elements. The musical innovation, the lyrical themes, the raw energy, the visual aesthetic, and that undeniable sense of authenticity.
Right. It's like all those pieces came together to create this perfect storm of sonic disruption.
Exactly. And you can't forget the cultural context. This was a time of social and political upheaval, a time when people were questioning everything. And Black Sabbath came along and provided a soundtrack for that questioning,
Right.
a sonic outlet for all that pent-up frustration and anxiety.
It's like they tapped into a collective unconscious knee-up, a shared sense of unease and rebellion that was brewing beneath the surface of society.
And by giving voice to that unease, they inadvertently created a movement.
And that movement continues to evolve and grow to this day.
It's incredible to think that one song could have such a profound and lasting impact.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all. It's like Black Sabbath is this musical singularity, this point in time where everything changed.
And it's a reminder that the most powerful music often comes from the darkest, most unexpected places.
So true.
Where?
I think we've explored the depths of Black Sabbath pretty thoroughly, but I'm still wrestling with that question you posed earlier.
Yeah.
What other songs out there have sparked entire subgenres or musical movements? It's a tough one.
It is a tough one, but it's a question worth pondering. And who knows? Maybe by exploring the history of heavy metal and beyond,
Yeah,
we can find some answers.
I'm definitely up for the challenge.
Well, then let's keep digging. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Get me with it.
Think about this. Black Sabbath was born out of fear, out of terrifying experience that Geezer Butler had, but it was through music, through the creative process,
Right.
that he was able to transform that fear into something powerful, something beautiful, something that would ultimately inspire millions of people.
Whoa, that's deep. So like fear can be a catalyst for creativity.
Exactly. And I think that's a powerful lesson we can all take away from this, whether you're a musician, an artist, or just someone navigating the complexities of life.
Yeah.
Remember that you have the power to transform your fears into something positive, something meaningful.
That's some serious food for thought.
Indeed. And as you continue your own musical journeys,
Oh, yeah.
as you listen to Black Sabbath and all the other heavy metal that you love, remember the power of music to transform, to inspire, to connect us to something greater than ourselves.
Beautifully said.
Now, before we sign off, I want to challenge our listeners to keep that question in mind.
Yeah.
What other songs out there have had the same kind of impact as Black Sabbath? Share your thoughts, keep the conversation going. We metalheads are a community, and music is what binds us together.
Right on. It's been a blast exploring the depths of Black Sabbath with you all.
Yeah.
It has been an absolute blast. And hey, what better place to continue this conversation than on our social media? Let us know which songs you think deserve a spot in the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame alongside Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah.
I bet there's some mind-blowing choices out there.
I have no doubt. And remember, it's not just about the heaviness or the speed. It's about the impact, the influence, the way a song can change the course of musical history.
Right. Think about the songs that made you see music in a whole new light. the ones that sparked your own musical journey.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't create entire genres, but they opened up new worlds of sound for you personally.
Exactly. Those personal connections are just as important as the big historical narratives. After all, music is a deeply personal experience.
It really is. And Black Sabbath is a perfect example of how a song can be both deeply personal and universally resonant. It was born out of Geezer Butler's individual experience, but it spoke to something deep within countless listeners across generations and cultures.
That's the magic of music, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can connect us in ways that words often can't.
Totally. It's a universal language, a sonic bridge between souls. And sometimes it takes a song like Black Sabbath to remind us of that power.
Well said. So as you go forth and explore the vast and ever-evolving world of heavy metal, keep your ears open, your mind's curious, and your heart's heavy. Who knows what sonic treasures you might uncover?
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the dark heart of Black Sabbath, everyone. Until next time, stay metal, my friends.